The neural inhibitor collar felt cold against Marcus Chen's neck as he hauled the massive ore cart through the sulfur-stained tunnels of mining station Kepler 442b. His muscles screamed in protest, but the device suppressed any thought of rebellion before it could fully form. Around him, dozens of other humans moved in the same mechanical rhythm. Lift, pull, dump, return. The Zephyrian overseers watched from elevated platforms, their four eyes gleaming with satisfaction at the efficiency of their latest conquest. Earth had fallen 3 months ago, not to superior firepower or advanced tactics, but to something far more insidious. The Zephyrians had studied humanity for decades before their arrival, cataloging every weakness, every division. They came not as conquerors, but as liberators, promising to end war, poverty, and suffering. All they asked in return was cooperation. The neural inhibitors had been sold as harmony devices, technology to eliminate negative emotions and violent impulses. Millions had volunteered for the procedure, believing they were ushering in a new age of peace. Only when the devices activated worldwide did humanity realize the truth. They weren't removing violence. They were removing free will. Marcus stumbled, his cart spilling its contents across the tunnel floor. Immediately, a Zephyrian enforcer glided down, its anti-gravity harness humming softly. Worker designation 7742. The alien spoke through its translator, its voice a mechanical drone. Efficiency has decreased by 12%. Explanation required. Marcus tried to summon anger, defiance, anything, but the collar dulled every emotion to a gray whisper. Fatigue, he managed to say. The enforcer's four eyes narrowed in sequence. Fatigue is inefficient. Report to reconditioning bay 7 after shift completion. As the alien glided away, something brushed against Marcus's hand. Another human worker, designation unknown, had knelt to help gather the spilled ore. For just a moment, their eyes met. The stranger's collar flickered just for an instant, and Marcus saw something impossible. Recognition, awareness, defiance. That night in the dormitory, as 200 humans lay in perfect rows on their regulation cots, Marcus felt a gentle pressure on his shoulder. The same worker from the tunnel was there, pressing something small and warm into his palm. A piece of paper, impossibly thin with words scrawled in blood. The collar's frequency shifts during REM sleep. Some of us remember. Section 7, tomorrow, second meal period. Look for the broken light. Marcus should have reported the contact immediately. The collar demanded it. But something deeper than the neural pathways the device controlled, something primal and human, kept him silent. The next day, Marcus found Section 7 during the meal break. A dozen humans sat beneath a flickering overhead light, their movements subtly different from the others. Less mechanical, more alive. Welcome to the broken ones, whispered a woman with graying hair and laugh lines that seemed out of place in this sterile hell. I'm Dr. Sarah Webb. Before all this, I studied neural networks. I've been working on understanding these collars. How are you, we still aware? Marcus asked, his voice barely audible. The Zephyrians made one critical error, Webb explained. They studied human individuals, but they never understood human connection. The collars suppress personal identity, but they can't suppress what we are as a species. We're social creatures, Marcus. Our consciousness isn't just individual, it's collective. She gestured to the others. Every person here formed deep emotional bonds before the invasion. Parent to child, spouse to spouse, friend to friend. Those connections run deeper than any technology can reach. When we're near each other, the resonance of our shared experiences creates interference patterns the collar can't compensate for. Marcus felt tears welling in his eyes. The first genuine emotion he'd experienced in months. How many of us are there? More every day. The effect is spreading. A mother remembers when she sees her child. A teacher awakens when surrounded by former students. Love, friendship, loyalty. They're not just emotions, Marcus. They're quantum entanglements that bind human consciousness together. Over the following weeks, the network grew. Careful signals passed between workers. A touch here, a glance there. The Zephyrians, for all their technological superiority, couldn't understand what they were seeing. Their species had evolved from solitary hunters. They had no concept of the bonds that held human society together. The breakthrough came when Webb's team realized they could use the mining equipment to amplify their collective neural resonance. The ore carts, loaded with crystalline minerals that naturally conducted bioelectric fields, became mobile broadcasting stations. As humans worked together, pulling the carts in synchronized teams. Their combined consciousness created ever stronger interference patterns. Marcus was hauling a cart with 5 other awakened humans when his collar finally failed completely. The sensation was overwhelming. Rage, hope, determination, and above all, love for his fellow humans flooded through him like a dam bursting. Around the mining complex, collars began failing in cascade patterns. Humans stopped mid-task, looking at each other with clear eyes for the first time in months. The Zephyrian overseers, suddenly faced with 200 free-willed humans, found their control structure crumbling. But the real surprise came when the humans didn't attack their captors. Instead, they began to organize. Work teams became rescue squads, pulling trapped humans from collapsed tunnels the Zephyrians had ignored. Food distribution shifted from individual rations to family-style sharing. Children who had been separated from parents were reunited with tears and laughter that echoed through the sterile corridors. The Zephyrian commander arrived with reinforcements, expecting to face a violent uprising. Instead, he found something his species couldn't comprehend. Humans working together not for conquest or revenge, but simply to help each other survive. "Your rebellion has failed," the commander announced through his translator. "We have weapons, superior technology, numerical advantage." Marcus, now speaking for the awakened humans, smiled. "We're not rebelling, Commander. We're just being human. Your collars tried to make us individuals, isolated and controllable. But you can't separate water from wetness or humans from humanity." The commander's 4 eyes dilated in confusion. "Explain." "You brought chains," Marcus said, gesturing to the disabled collars scattered around the facility. "But we brought something older than your technology, older than your species, older than the stars themselves. We brought Brotherhood, and that's something you can't collar, contain, or control." The Zephyrian forces withdrew that night, not in defeat but in bewilderment. Their reports to the homeworld would speak of a species that defied every model of conquest. A people whose greatest strength lay not in their weapons or their technology, but in their refusal to abandon each other. Across the galaxy, other Zephyrian outposts began reporting similar phenomena. Humans awakening not through technology or violence, but through the simple act of remembering what it meant to be human together. The age of easy conquest was over. Humanity had reminded the galaxy of its oldest and most powerful weapon, the unbreakable bonds that make a species more than the sum of its parts.